What's up, guys? Welcome to Groveside Chats. Take 3 for us. We've already recorded like half the podcast twice. We've had some technical difficulties. Well, I'm recording on my phone, and I'm using an app called Anchor. I'm back to audio copy now because Anchor distributes to all sorts of social media. And I don't have to do all the hoops and steps, but I don't mind doing the hoops and steps if I'm able to pause my recording and go back to it. But my buddy kept calling me, wanting to asking me questions about something, and so I was getting kind of annoyed by that. Sorry, but I'm your host, Caleb. Thank you for tuning into Groveside Chats. I'm joined by Christian. Christian, how you doing today?
I'm all right. How are you, Caleb?
I am well, thank you. On today's show, we will be discussing the you hear coffee beans being grounded in the background.
Currently in Cups.
Cups Espresso Cafe. If you need caffeine and energy, then stop by a Cups Espresso Cafe.
We are not sponsored by
They
them.
will provide you with the espresso, the coffee, whatever you need to get you through your day. Go to the Cups Espresso Cafe. Thank you. We're not sponsored by them, but I do like to give them a shout out because they have the best coffee ever. I'm enjoying my iced mocha with espresso cubes. Well, I actually just finished it, but it was really good. On today's show, we will be discussing the Ole Miss Cal debacle. Get your season tickets for Ole Miss basketball because that is one thing we have to look forward to. We'll talk about the upcoming game against Alabama, in which we will be beaten 68-12 if we can score 12. We'll talk about some other games that happened yesterday. We'll give an NFL scoreboard update. My Steelers just lost, so I'm very tempted to go to the interstate and run into traffic. Maybe that'll rid me of all my misery. That's actually a poorly timed joke, too, because, we heard the news about what happened to Jevin Sneed. Y'all keep Jevin Sneed.
Prayers up for Jevin Sneed's family. It's just...
Yeah, keep his family and friends in y'all's prayer.
Never the answer, man.
No, and if you see anybody that's struggling, you see that maybe down, they may be in the dumps and having a hard time, reach out to them. Pray for them and talk to them and try to make a difference and impact on their lives. So you never know what you could do to cheer someone else up. And you never know the kind of impact you may have on somebody else. It could be a positive one, and it could be a negative one. So always be conscientious of what you're doing and what you're saying to other people because you want to leave a lasting impact. And you want to do what you can to prevent that from happening. I know I've rescued Christian I'm just kidding. But seriously, though, keep the Sneed family in your prayers and be sure to be kind to people and be aware of how you talk to people and how you interact with others. Now, speaking of things that are horrible and awful, we'll talk about the Ole Miss game, talk about the upcoming game against Bama. Like I said, we'll talk about NFL scoreboard, college football games that happened yesterday. We'll do, Christian and I both have a list, top 5 college game day atmospheres in which we would like to attend and participate. And we will talk about entertainment, movies. We both have a movie review of a movie that came out recently. And we'll talk about some music, too, what we've been listening to, what we've been watching on TV and whatnot. So, Christian, tell me about yesterday's game. What'd you think? You were not at the game, and I was at the game, so we have 2 different perspectives, but they're both depressing perspectives.
First off, ESPNU broadcast was so biased towards Cal, it was not even funny. So let's just throw that out there, but that always happens to us. They always talk about the other team more than us. Mm-hmm. But
like the Texas Tech game last year. I remember I was there I was at the Texas Tech game last year, and I recall you texted me about how all the commentators were doing was talking about Dakota Allen, who had transferred from EMCC to Texas Tech, and they didn't talk about us at all. Even though, where's Dakota Allen now? He's on the NFL, but we got DK and AJ and Knox and many others who are in the NFL right now, and they didn't even get mentioned at all. Didn't talk about them or our team or anything. But
back to the game.
But the commentators have always been against us. Just expect that on a national level. I swear if John calls me, I'll be so mad. He just texted me. So back to what we were saying. I expect that to happen with commentators and whatnot. But tell me what you saw. Let's just start. We know what happened at the end of the game. Let's hold off on that. We'll talk about that in a minute. We'll start from first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and on. I'm not telling you to break down the first quarter, then break down the second quarter. But just from start to finish, what did you see?
Well, first half, pretty much the whole game we moved the ball pretty easily against Cal. But for some reason, on some drives, we just had so many missed opportunities in the red zone. And just left a lot of points on the table or on the board or whatnot, whatever you want to call it. Like Luke Logan, I don't know what's up with you, but you didn't get your act together.
Luke Logan's a frequent listener of our show, by the way. So
No,
Luke, we love you.
He's not.
The whole
joking.
team does, though. I mean, really. I mean, I'm shocked how all the guys on our team listen to us every week. I wish the fans would do it too, but
He's joking. By the way,
I'm kidding. So yesterday,
and Mac Brown, he needs to just do all the kicking duties besides like the kick return or whatnot. He just needs to do the punts and the field goals, or at least try him out on field goals, because he might have a better chance of making them than Luke Logan, because I have no confidence in Luke Logan.
Matt Brown's punting was awesome yesterday, though.
Yeah.
So I'll give y'all some stats. Yesterday, Garber's, Cal's quarterback, had 357 yards and 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. The 1 pick, I forgot who picked it off, number 24. What's his name? Doesn't matter. He read the play perfectly. I wish we had read plays like that all game. And guess what happened on that interception? We put pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah.
Put pressure on him. But we didn't put pressure on him any other time in the game. Corral had 20.
When we did, we would miss him, and he would get outside the pocket and run for a positive gain.
But not many yards. He wasn't fast. He got like 3 yards. But still, yes, should have gotten him in the backfield several times. Corral was 22 for 41 with 266 yards. I mean, Corral almost had 300 yards. He moved the ball on them.
And for the Corral injury,
and
I'm sure we'll find out more tomorrow. I'm positive we will find out more tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Some people are saying it's wrist. Some people are saying it's his ribs. I don't know I think it's his ribs more than anything. But if it is, I don't see him playing against Bama. But,
no,
just be on the lookout for
I think he'll be fine, because he was tweeting this morning. It didn't seem like
I hope he'll be
upset
fine, because I don't want to see him get hurt.
But we had Corral also led our team in rushing yesterday with 56 yards, and he did have a rushing touchdown. Remember we faked him on that? We faked the handoff to Scotty, and he ran around in on 3rd down to it. Why don't we always get 3rd and goal? We're always in the goal line, 3rd down. We can't score on the first play ever. Their running back only had 47 yards. Their run game was non-existent yesterday. Tongs was their biggest receiver yesterday. He had 88 yards and a touchdown, and Elijah Moore had 102 yards. And it should have been 2 touchdowns for him. One, he just didn't read the ball at all and ended up not getting to it. And the other one, well, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But for our defense, that had been playing well up until yesterday. I mean, the Southeast Louisiana game, I'll count that as a wash, because I don't think they were playing for that game. I don't think they were focused on that game. They were focused on this upcoming game. But I may be wrong on that, because them playing badly against Southeast Louisiana was kind of foreshadowing what they would do yesterday. But they did give up fewer points to Cal than they did to Southeast Louisiana. I mean, Southeast Louisiana scored 29. Cal only scored 28. But I didn't expect our defense to be that bad. No. I was impressed early on with Sam Williams and Benito Jones, and even Anderson off the rush. Williams and Anderson off the edge, and Shepard off the edge as well. All right, we're back. Sorry, we had to take a little break. I was on the phone with a buddy of mine. He was doing some help. He was helping me out with something. So last thing we were talking about was how the defense was underwhelming yesterday. Big Sam didn't really show up. I mean, we stopped their run game. The run game was non-existent. Yeah. And one of my 5 keys for the game was to make them pass the ball, and I really ate crow on that one. I knew our secondary was bad, but I didn't know I knew our secondary was bad, but I'm not going to blame them or fault them for everything that happened yesterday, because it wasn't. You can't expect them to guard a guy for 8 seconds, right, while the quarterback has full autonomy to smoke a cigar and read the paper before he gets rid of the ball. Our pressure was non-existent. I think McIntyre could have game planned better, but he still is coaching with last year's talent, which was one of the worst defenses in the country. You don't make them great overnight. You don't make them one of the best defenses overnight.
Our running defense or whatnot, I feel like it has improved a little bit. Oh,
for sure. I mean, we shut Raheem Boyd down.
They're not just going through these big holes, and they're just like a big old gap with nobody right there.
If you look, no one's run on us. Patrick Taylor from Memphis had a decent game against us, but that's because they wore us down at the end because our offense was non-existent. But if you look at early on in the game, they weren't running on us. No team has run on us. And Patrick Taylor Jr. from Memphis is a NFL running back. Raheem Boyd for Arkansas is an NFL talent. And Cal's running back is pretty good too. And I don't know about the Southeast Louisiana running back, but he didn't have a big game on us. But I mean, that might change tomorrow with Bama. Najee Harris will probably run all over us next Saturday. But I mean that's because it's Bama. I mean that's not anything against our defense. Bama's number 2 for a reason. So I'm impressed with the run defense, depressed with the pass defense. The secondary's bad. Hartsfield gets beat off the ball a lot. Jalen Julius cannot guard anybody. I don't know what Linton and others are doing at safety.
I don't know either.
I don't know what's going on, but they're not together. They're not in sync. It seems like they're not communicating with one another well. I think not having Momo is hurting us more than you realize because he was our team captain on defense, and he was the one calling the plays. I think there's been some miscommunication with Lakia Henry and Jaquez Jones. I wish we'd play Hibbler more, but rush him, to try to hit the quarterback because he's big and athletic and strong. Not fast, but he's big and athletic and strong. Mm-hmm. And I'd love to see him hit the quarterback. That'd be nice. But we didn't send a pass rush much at all. And when we did, we got to the quarterback. Did we tackle him? No, but we got to him. And he didn't have time to get the ball out. The thing is, if you give a quarterback all the time in the world to pass, he's going to find an open receiver. That's going to happen. You can't guard someone forever. Like Christian, you're slower than dirt, but you'd end up getting open on me at some point. I'm one of the fastest guys in the world. If y'all didn't know, me and Usain Bolt used to race each other all the time. But I was really depressed with our defense. I was underwhelmed with them. They didn't look good yesterday. Cal's quarterback, 357 passing yards on us, and he's not a great quarterback. It was bad. Offensively speaking, hurry up what? I can talk about the game. This is what we're supposed to do, talk about the game. What do you mean hurry up? This man's giving me the signal to hurry up. I'm breaking down the game. I'm breaking down film. I do like running the 3-4 defense. I don't like playing zone every time because I do want to get to the quarterback. And if we blow up, if he blows us up one time and gets an open receiver because we took a gamble to try to hit him, fine, but at least you're getting him in his head, right? You're rattling him a little bit. And so that's what I think. What do you think?
Oh, man.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I guess so.
Would you rather at least see us attempt to get to him rather than just let him?
Oh, yeah.
Let him just destroy us? Because their receivers just running free at that point. And offensively speaking, I was really impressed with our offense. There's people ready to just dump Corral and say he's not a quarterback. He doesn't deserve to be on the team. I think that's ridiculous. Corral he wasn't great yesterday. He wasn't terrible either. He was kind of somewhere in the middle. He was kind of in that bad to okay. He was okay.
Plus, you can remember he's still a freshman.
He had 266 yards.
He's still learning, kind of. I guess
266 yards, and everybody's on the we need to start Plumlee train. Hold the brakes now. He had 2 possessions. Now he looked freaking awesome in those 2 possessions, and we're gonna get to that too. We have that discussion on the agenda, but I thought Corral played an okay game. He did not throw any interceptable passes. He has a high football IQ, and people are upset with how inaccurate he is, and I am too. He's not an accurate passer. He cannot pass from the pocket, but he doesn't have to pass from the pocket anyway because he has no time to remain in the pocket. As soon as he gets the ball, he has to get his butt out of the pocket, and I think that's fine running those RPOs where you can get him out of the pocket sorry, I'm talking too fast. Get him out of the pocket and not run the quick slants and down and outs and getting our receivers open. I don't like how he throws it at their feet or sails it above their heads or throws it a step behind. But he does that because he's reading the safety and the middle linebacker. And he's trying to keep it to where the safety can't jump the ball and get the pick six. And he's trying to make sure the linebacker doesn't blow it up as well. And so every pass he throws, he's overthinking them. Whereas Tommy would just zip them in there. He didn't care. Tommy was a very accurate passer. He would throw some dumb interceptions too. Corral's not going to do that. Now, he tries too hard to be flashy. He tries to do those Patrick Mahomes sidearms, and he throws it way too fast. I'm like, dude, you're not a baseball pitcher. You're a quarterback. Just throw the ball to your receiver. You got him, lead him, put enough zip on the ball where it won't get picked. But also don't air it to where, someone's going to catch it out of the back of the end zone. So Corral does need to work on that, and I hope he's healthy. I'm hearing wrist, maybe rib. I don't know what the injury is. I don't know what the truth is. We'll keep y'all posted. We'll let y'all know on Twitter what it is. Follow us.
We'll probably find out tomorrow.
We'll definitely find out tomorrow. Yeah. Follow us on Twitter at Chats Groveside, on Instagram at Groveside Chats. It's a shameless plug. At the end of the game, though, Corral got hurt. We pulled him out, and then Plumlee comes in there, and oh my gosh.
Yeah, he kind of flipped the switch for the whole team, basically.
I look over to
we got some momentum or whatnot.
So I was sitting South Club, so I was in a club level seating up top. I could survey the barren stands. It looked like an post-apocalyptic wasteland. And the Fire Fest party tents were empty. But as I surveyed the game and noticed something about John Rice Plumlee, I looked to one of my neighbors who was sitting next to me. It was actually my dad. And I said, Dad, do you think we have a Wally Pipp situation going on? And for those of you who don't understand that reference, Wally Pipp was a first baseman for the New York Yankees way back when. And he got sick and couldn't play one game. Lou Gehrig comes in, hits like 3 home runs, and just dominates the game. And Wally Pipp was a good first baseman, but he lost his job because Lou Gehrig was just awesome. But people didn't realize how awesome he was. And I'm thinking, I don't think that's going to happen. But if Corral continues to be inaccurate and inconsistent, and Plumlee continues to play like he did, and I'm sure they will play him more, we might have a Wally Pipp situation there. So Plumlee goes down there, drives it, so we score a touchdown with ease. I mean, he ran a 46-yard rush on the first play. Second drive, we're moving the ball with ease, Throws it, launches one, Gregory extends, catches it, gets us in touchdown, gets us in the red zone. We run another play. We got the first down. First down, incomplete pass. Second down, we run to Ely up the middle. I don't agree with that. Ely's not off the tackle runner. He's not going to break any tackles. He's a speed guy. And so the clock starts running right there. And on the previous drive, we forced Cal to fourth down. They call a timeout. They go out to punt. Then Luke calls our last timeout for no reason.
Yep.
And I'm getting to this. So
poor game management.
So we get down
always.
Third down. Corral. Plumlee throws a beautiful pass to Elijah Moore, who's in. And there's no doubt about it that he's in. Now, I wish he didn't just fall on the ground like he did. I wish he kind of turned and extended the ball, because if the ball comes out, he's already in the end zone. It doesn't matter. It's not a fumble. He's in. He's in the dead zone anyway, in the end zone.
All he had to do,
turn around.
Catch it, and then just
turn around.
Fall
down.
in.
But he fell out of the end zone. But he was in. Like, the ball is in. There's picture proof. There's video proof that he was in. If you disagree with me, you're wrong. I don't care about your opinion at this point.
10 times out of 10, they review that. They call that a touchdown and review it.
If the smallest tip of the ball crosses the smallest tip of white in the end zone, the first tip of white, first tip of paint, that's a touchdown. And the ball, more than half of the ball was across. It was easily a touchdown. Why didn't they call it a touchdown on the field and then review it? And if they conclude he's not in, you spot the ball at below the 1 yard line, and then you start the clock. When you spot the ball, then we can run a play. But though after that happened, whatever. Plumlee tries the quarterback sneak in. Why is Scotty standing back behind him, not trying to push him in the end zone? Scotty just stands there with his hands on his knees. Was he ticked off that Rodriguez didn't run him the ball at all in the second half, which was stupid? You need to be running the – if there's a possession where you don't give the ball to Scotty, it's a wasted possession, because Scotty's arguably our most talented player on offense right now. Maybe not, because maybe Elijah Moore is, but Scotty is one of our most talented players. He's a great running back. He's one of the best running backs in the SEC. But I don't understand why he didn't try to push Plumlee in at that point, but also I don't understand why they didn't review it and why Matt Luke didn't preserve the timeout for that situation, because you never know when you're going to need that timeout. But I'm very disappointed. Keith Carter issued a statement to the Pac-12 saying he was disappointed in the way they officiated, the way they called the game, and how for them not to review that was
normally
asinine.
You have SEC refs and Pac-12 review people or whatnot.
We had a whole Pac-12 crew yesterday. They were out to get us, as always. Everybody's always out to get us.
It should have been Pac-12 refs and SEC replay booth people. That's how it always is, or should be, for these type of non-conference games.
And earlier on in the game too, in one of those drives, I remember this too. We've already covered the whole game. I want to say the refs were horrible. They never called holding on Cal.
That's always.
But they called a ridiculous pass interference on Jalen Julius, where Cal's receiver threw him to the ground.
And then they didn't call one.
And then Mingo's getting held.
Yeah.
It was obvious. It wasn't like it was within the 5 yards where you could push each other, right? It was like 20 yards down. Mingo was about to get freed up and be wide open. And the Cal defensive back grabs him and just pushes him out of bounds. Doesn't even try to play the ball. Mingo can't even get loose. He's looking at the ref. The ref's standing right there watching it. And he's like, dude, what am I supposed to do? Like, they're supposed to give me free space to run, and they didn't. Officiating was horrible yesterday. But moving on beside that, that's just how the game went. But what do you think we should do about this John Rice Plumlee, Matt Corral kind of controversy and talks, these hot takes? What do you think? First of all, what did you think about Plumlee?
He looked really good. His 40 is like a 4.39. It's insane.
Yeah, he's fast.
White boy with that 99 speed.
Dude, the first play, I was looking at Chris Vernon. I like to listen to Chris Vernon's show. Chris Vernon listens to us all the time, too. He's one of our biggest fans. He'll text me after every show and be like, man, great job, Caleb. I wish I was half as talented as you guys.
By the way.
But I was looking at his feet, and he's like, Plumlee, my gosh, that kid could fly. He's like, he needs to be Ole Miss's starting quarterback. But Plumlee came out there the first play, 46-yard run, and I thought I saw a lightning bolt just flash. I thought I was watching The Flash. I do like to watch The Flash. I thought I was watching Barry Allen just boom, or Dash from The Incredibles, just boom down the field. Like, how have we not used him yet? I know they don't want to burn his red shirt, but who cares about his red shirt at this point?
Yeah, really.
Who cares? It's not like he's going to be here the whole time. He's going to be a baseball player too. And if he's incredible at baseball, he'll get drafted because he's so fast. He can be an outfielder for somebody if he can hit. But I was very impressed with what I saw from him. And the passes, he looked to be in total control of the offense. Whereas Corral is awesome, like with his charisma. Like he doesn't get shaken and he doesn't lose confidence. But I think he gets too overconfident that it affects his decision making because he's trying to prove his value so much that he loses control of what he does, and he gets too emotional to where it messes with him. It messes up his passing ability. It messes him up. He tries to shake people, to break tackles, to hurdle people, to stiff arm and all that. And he's going to get himself hurt if he keeps doing that. Whereas Plumlee was cool and collected. The kid he had guts of steel. Like, he did not care. He was not worried about anything. Total control of the offense. And he moved down the field like it was nothing. I was really impressed with what I see. And if I don't see him playing in the next few games, I'm really going to question whether we should keep Matt Luke or not as coach. I'm already questioning that right now, especially after the game management, the timeout situation. It was awful. I don't want to get rid of Matt Luke quite yet because I do want to keep Rodriguez and McIntyre and see what they can bring to the table on the team. But there was a situation where we could promote McIntyre to be head coach or something like that. I'd be happy with that. That'd be fine with me. But that's beside the point. I don't want to get into the whole Matt Luke talk. I don't want to be the guys that talk about the fire Matt Luke, keep Matt Luke. Here's why we should fire him. If you like Matt Luke, you're an idiot. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that show.
Just support the team.
Support the team. Show up to the games. I don't care if it's an 11 o'clock game. Go to the game and support the team. These kids are out there playing for Ole Miss, and you're not going to be able to recruit anybody, whether Luke's coach or not. You're not going to be able to recruit anybody if you're not at the games.
That joke of a crowd.
Because recruits are going to be like, okay, well, why would I go here when I can go just 45 minutes to Starkville when their fans are there, even though their crowd was kind of dead yesterday too for the Kentucky game. But I can go to Baton Rouge and be in a full stadium every week. I can go to South Carolina, who's a mediocre team every year, never a championship caliber team, but their stadium is packed every single week. Same with A&M, same with Tennessee, even Arkansas, always packed. I don't know what it is about our fans, but they don't do it. But that's it. That's how the game went. We lost 28-20 in a game that we really should have won. We were the better team. There's no doubt about that. We were the better team. If you look at the game, we were the better team.
But moving on, let's just preview a little bit of Alabama. My only take is, and this is the only thing I'm going to say.
Play the water boy. Bobby Boucher.
Make it out of this game injury-free. Don't let Elijah Moore get severely hurt.
Don't pass. Do not pass the ball at all. Just hand the ball to Snoop Connor and Isaiah Woolard every play. Start Grant Tisdale.
Just get out of the game with limited damage.
No injuries. Do not try to run trick plays. Don't try to pass the ball. We're not winning that game.
I think we're going to get stomped.
If anyone thinks we're winning that game, they're delusional. But I think it's a game where we just need to run the ball up the middle, every play, run the clock as much as we can. And on defense, just play a zone, let Tua do his thing, and just try to keep it a manageable game.
Keep them off the field, and we just run a bunch of clock on our offense.
Treat it, in my opinion, treat it as a big practice against an NFL team. Because you're not there to beat them. The NFL team's practicing against you just to get their reps in. Treat it like a big practice to where you learn from them.
Heck, stay
out
there 6-minute drives.
Matt Luke needs to ask Nick Saban if he could stand on Bama's sideline and coach with him. Oh, okay, this is what you do, Nick. Thanks, man. I appreciate the advice. I would love that. No, but Matt Luke needs to just watch Saban the whole game and watch how he coaches the game and then learn and take tips. Matt Luke should not call any plays. Just take tips from Nick Saban all game. That's how it should go. We're not winning that game. If you think we are, you're delusional, and I pray for your mental sanity. But I really don't. I think we should just run the ball. I mean, minimal. I'm being sarcastic by saying we shouldn't pass. We should have a game plan, and we should try to beat Bama. I mean, you don't try to lose any game. I don't believe in that mentality. Play the game, have a game plan, try to win, and do what you can. But we're not going to win. But just don't get hurt. That's the big key: is do not get hurt, and don't get just completely exposed too. Try to be as competitive as you can. But at this point, what difference does it make? Yesterday we had Friday night and Saturday. Yesterday we had some good college football games. We'll run through some games of note, some big games, not all the games. I went too long talking about games last week. We had USC, who upset Utah last night. USC is 3-1 now, and Clay Helton might be able to keep his job. I mean, it was a top 10 team they faced at home, and they ended up beating them, edging them out. Utah did come back and try to win. Alabama beat Southern Miss 49-7. That's who we're playing next week is Alabama, not Southern Miss. Golden Eagles, I mean, they can't compete with Alabama, and Alabama did their thing. Tua has thrown like 55 touchdowns and 1 pick now against unranked opponents, so he's awesome.
I will say that moving on from the Bama game or Bama Southern Miss game, that Georgia game, I was actually kind of surprised about Notre Dame.
I was wrong.
Hey, I was wrong too.
I said Georgia would win 48-20.
I didn't predict the score, but I thought just Georgia would just steamroll over Notre Dame. But
and they didn't. Ian Book's the real deal.
Yeah.
And Georgia's defense is incredible. So I'm not saying that people can say, oh, if Ian Book was so good, why did they only score 17 points? But Georgia has one of the best.
Because it's at Georgia.
At Georgia.
They're feeding
off
that
that kid was
crowd's
confident. That kid did not lack any confidence. It was not scared at all. And Notre Dame gave them all they wanted. And they could have won that game at a certain point, too.
Yeah, they got the ball back with final possession.
They did. They had a chance. But Georgia ended up edging that game out. And the game, I think there are a lot of regrets. Kirby had a lot of regrets about that game. They could have game planned differently and won bigger, but they didn't cover the 14-point spread. And Notre Dame looked good. Notre Dame could be a team that makes a playoff push if they win out. I initially had them in the playoff, but that's their only loss they have.
Yeah, they're going to win out.
They got Michigan. That's the only other big game they have. And Michigan looked like doo-doo against Wisconsin yesterday. Moving on, Auburn beat A&M on the road 28-20, the same score as our game. We had the Texas game that went down to the wire. Texas.
I was actually kind of surprised by that, but I mean, Oklahoma State's offense.
Chubba Hubbard, dog.
Really good.
You can't bet against Chubba Hubbard, man.
Their defense is
Oklahoma State did cover because Texas was like an 8-point favorite.
And that Pitt game, that was some kind of ending.
How did UCF lose that, man? I thought UCF was going to destroy Pitt, and they didn't. Remember earlier in the week I said UCF was going to beat them by 30, and they didn't. In the big game, the craziest game happened last night. Christian fell asleep, and I watched it.
UCLA was Washington State.
Washington State was up 49-17 and lost that game. The only way I could tell y'all that and y'all would believe it, other than it happening, would be to say that Ole Miss was up 49-17 on A&M, and A&M came back and won. That would be realistic, right?
That wouldn't be surprising.
But because Mike Leach isn't our coach. Mike Leach is Washington State's coach. Mike Leach was beside himself. He didn't know what to do at that point. His quarterback threw 9 touchdowns last night. Did you see that? How do you have to score 10 touchdowns to win a game?
I woke up this morning. I was like, let me check the Washington State game. And I saw like UCLA trending. And I clicked on it and saw UCLA came back and won 67-63.
They scored 50 points in the second half.
And I was like, dang, I got to watch those highlights. And I was just kind of mind blown how Washington State fumbled like 2 or 3 or more times.
So it was 35-17 at halftime, and then Washington State right out the bat in the second half scored 2 touchdowns, so they scored 14 unanswered, so it's 49-17. And then next thing you know, UCLA scores 21 points in the third quarter and 29 in the fourth quarter. No defense. It was crazy how that happened. I remember watching that. That UCLA quarterback was getting out of the pocket, was throwing it, just zooming it downfield. And they forced some turnovers, too. Washington had a couple of fumbles, and they had an interception. And then that allowed UCLA to edge out the game. Other games of note, Arizona State, who worked their way into the top 25 last week after an ugly win against Michigan State. They lose at home versus Colorado. Both teams are now 3-1. And that's pretty much it for yesterday's games of note. Some of my takeaways is that I think Notre Dame is better than people gave them credit for.
Yes.
I think both Texas and Oklahoma State are good teams. I think Texas is good, man. They're legit. I do like Sam Ehlinger a lot. That was my dark horse to be Heisman. Did Oklahoma, were they off yesterday? I didn't notice. I didn't pay attention.
I think they were because I don't
Okay.
see
I saw Ohio State had a real tough one. They won 70-5. Golly, that's brutal. Tennessee sucks. We noticed that. Florida beat them with a backup quarterback whose last name is Trask, a.k.a. Trash. Beat them 24-3. Just stomped them. Tennessee has nothing to look forward to. Who was it that Miami beat? Ohio State beat Miami of Ohio. Ben Roethlisberger's alma mater. But yeah, so the things I noticed yesterday, that was, like I said, Ian Book is legit. Notre Dame has a chance to go to the playoff if they win out, and they look like a good team. Georgia's really good. They're solid, but they have some things they need to work on offensively, like moving the ball and consistently. Auburn is going to be tough for any team to beat. They're not going to be a slouch.
Yeah, Bo Nix is he's getting more improved.
He's still very inaccurate, but he's a gamer. So it doesn't matter how accurate you are. If you're a gamer, you know how to win. And that Auburn defense is a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, my gosh,
that defensive line, golly, we shouldn't even try to run any plays against them, too. Just, here, take the ball, don't kill us. Because, they're all – do you think Mike Howard and Eli Johnson –
that game, we need to get out of that game injury-free, too.
Yeah, well, our offensive line's going to be broken at that point.
Probably.
Let's go through – what did you notice yesterday? Oh, in UCLA, that was a crazy comeback. Yeah. You don't see a 30-point comeback often.
That's about it. Except Michigan, I'm loving how all this Shea Patterson hype, and they're just sucking it up.
Oh, Wisconsin murdered them yesterday.
Jonathan Abram is a beast.
Jonathan Abram from Mississippi State?
Or no, freaking Wisconsin.
Jonathan Taylor?
Yes, golly.
He is a stud. Let's go to some NFL scores now. We'll give you the NFL scoreboard. I will say I'm not happy with the way things went today with my Steelers. We're 0-3 now.
Yeah, but
the Fitzpatrick trade was great because he did have an interception day and like a fumble recovery too. He was awesome. So Thursday night, Garner Minshew II went off with the mustache, Brandon, Mississippi native, and they beat the Titans 20-7. The Lions edged out the Eagles. I think the Eagles are not good. They edged them out 27-24. The Patriots beat the Jets 30-14. Yeah, the Patriots. Oh, and they waived Antonio Brown. And Antonio Brown announced his retirement from the NFL this morning.
Good riddance.
And then he said, let's get on this for a second.
Really.
He said that NFL owners should be investigated and they should be forced to pay him the money they owed him, right? But so does that mean he should be forced to pay the chef the $35,000 he owes him?
Or the doctor that he
pooted, whose face he pooted?
Yeah.
Or the girl who painted a portrait of him in which he walked out butt naked in front of her without her permission or consent? Or, a whole bevy of people, a business partner he claimed had stolen a bag of cash from him and that didn't happen. Should he pay the police?
He's scum.
He called the police in Pittsburgh and said that his Rolls Royce was stolen. He couldn't find it. And then they go to his house, knock on the door. He opens the door and says, I found it, and slammed the door in their face. This guy really has a case against the NFL. Getting in a group. Did you hear the group message story about Antonio Brown? So one of that artist, right, that he walked out butt naked, dangling in front of her. Mm-hmm. She came out in Sports Illustrated and told them that story, right? Well, this dude adds her to a group chat. It was her and like two of his buddies and his lawyer. And he was like, you a lie, the devil a lie, you working with the devil trying to get me and all this stuff. That's not verbatim, so don't take that like say he didn't actually say those things. It's verbatim. I'm quoting the general idea of what he said, but he did say like you're making up this story, trying to get money from me. You're broke. You can't afford to feed your kids. This girl got all these kids. She can't feed them. And then he sends a picture of her kids to the group message, and the attorney did not reply at all. Someone from the media reached out to his attorney and said, did you advise your client to say this? And he was like, no way. He's like, if you look closely to the text message chain, at no point did I respond or did I say anything. He's like, I try to stay as far away from that as possible and act like it didn't happen because I did not advise my client to do that. I wouldn't be surprised if his attorney dropped him. And I wouldn't be surprised if his agent dropped him too because neither one's going to get paid. With Antonio Brown's history of paying people, neither one will get paid. It's just a scummy situation with a scummy guy. I'm embarrassed that I've worn his jersey before.
Yeah, ever since he was made a franchise player.
Ever since he got hit by Vontaze Burfict, man, he hasn't been the same. Dude's got CTE, man.
Well, this guy who used to play for the Steelers, I think he went to LSU. He's on SportsCenter.
Ryan Clark.
Yes, he talked about how if you make Antonio Brown your franchise player, he's going to be
a diva.
Yes,
and they played together. Ryan Clark knows him.
And he was right. It's
but
just a shame.
It's sad what happened to him, but I do pray for him, and I hope. And we called him a scumbag, we called him a garbage human being. I hate saying that. I take that back. I'm sorry for saying that because we don't need to be so critical of people. We need to understand what's wrong for them. And I was reading Jason Whitlock, his Twitter feed earlier, and a lot of people don't like Whitlock. A lot of people don't like Clay Travis because y'all are. So a lot of people are sensitive either, and they can't handle facts and the truth. And people don't like my guy Ben Shapiro because they can't handle the facts and the truth. But Whitlock said this earlier. Antonio Brown grew up in a broken home. He grew up in a broken home where he didn't have his father present, I believe. And Whitlock said, before we chastise him and criticize him, we can call him out for the wrong things he's done. But we need to have sympathy and acknowledge, people who grow up in broken homes don't understand. They don't have the discipline that people in broken homes do. And there are outliers. There are people, you read the success stories of kids that grew up in foster homes and now are presidents of their company, right? But that doesn't happen statistically. And so, me and you are blessed to have both of our parents at the house. I've had a whole bevy of controversy in my life. My mother passed away this year. That's a long story. And, I grew up with just my dad, but my dad got remarried. I had a good stepmom, and we both been raised by good people who raised us in the church, who raised us to be, respectful, loving, kind, and decent. We would never do the things Antonio Brown did. And this is a life lesson for you kids, because a lot of y'all who listen to me are younger. And so for y'all, just do the best you can to be respectful of your elders, be respectful of other people, and to set a good example. And look to guys like Antonio Brown as people of whom you don't want to be. Guys like LeBron James, like guys you don't want to be, who make it all about them. LeBron is a good dad and a good husband. He seems to be a good man in the home, but he puts too much of a facade on himself, and look what it's doing. He's creating a monster by doing that, because now you have Antonio Brown acting out. You've got other athletes doing the same thing, domestic abuse running rampant, and these guys grew up in broken homes. So pray for those people. And I didn't mean to get on that tangent. It's a subject that's heavy on my heart, because I do want to be in the ministry when I'm older, and I want to deal with kids who grew up in broken homes. The Vikings beat the Raiders. Interesting segue. The Vikings beat the Raiders 34-14. The Raiders are no good.
The Raiders are just...
The Vikings defense is really good.
Yeah.
The Ravens made a good comeback against the Chiefs, but Pat's my homie.
Let me ask you this. Do you think Lamar Jackson is proving himself that he's good?
No, he hasn't played a defense yet. The Chiefs' defense is horrible, dog.
Okay.
The Chiefs' defense is atrocious. He hasn't played anybody. I think Lamar Jackson's good and serviceable, but he still can't throw.
Okay.
But Patrick Mahomes now, on the other hand, is awesome. And the Ravens' defense is good. And Lamar Jackson is relying on the backbone of the Ravens' defense to carry him, which is fine. You want to have a good defense. So the Chiefs beat them 33-28. The Colts edge out the Falcons 27-24. The Falcons are no good, and the Saints still may win that division, even without Breeze for 6 weeks. Packers beat the Broncos to nobody's surprise, 27-16. The Cowboys whooped the Dolphins 31-6 to nobody's surprise. The Bills are 3-0. Dawson Knox had a big touchdown in a play where he just destroyed a safety. Oh, my gosh, I feel bad for that. The first guy, he just juked him, got past him. The second guy, he was like, come here. Just trucked him, just made a fool out of the guy. Giants beat the Buccaneers 32-31.
Evan Ingram.
Hotty Evan Ingram. And Daniel Jones, good game by him. The Panthers beat the Cardinals 38-20 to nobody's surprise.
Yep. Rip.
The Steelers played against the 49ers. The Saints beat the Seahawks 33-27.
That was actually a close game.
I told people were like, the Saints aren't going to win a game until Breeze comes back. I'm like, y'all, Teddy Bridgewater is a good quarterback. It's like, well, he didn't play good against the Rams. Like, okay, two things about that. A, the Rams have a really good defense. I mean, can you imagine having Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh in your face all game? And with their secondary, that's
Sue's
phenomenal
not
too. Not Suh, sorry. Suh got traded. But having Aaron Donald in your face,
I know what you they knew what you meant.
They have other good D linemen too. I was thinking of their Super Bowl team last year. But having Aaron Donald in your face all game, you don't even need Suh. Having Aaron Donald in your face all game. But Peyton didn't game plan for Bridgewater last week, and he game planned for him today, and look at him. The Texans edged out the Chargers 27-20, and the Texans are probably going to win their division, I would say. Would you say that too? Between them, the Colts, the Titans, and the Jaguars, Titans ain't winning that division. Titans are horrible, and they need to throw to A.J. more, but they don't have a quarterback that can get him the ball. Mariota is awful. But that's our NFL scoreboard.
Yep.
You got some good fantasy football performances today from Mark.
Man, my team's actually winning.
Do you have Mark Ingram?
I do not.
Okay. Well, Mark Ingram went off today. Patrick Mahomes, my boy.
Yeah.
Pat's me homie went off today.
He helped me out a
If you
lot.
have Juju on your team, you did awesome. 'Cause he had a 76-yard touchdown reception. Fudge.
I'm still think I'm going to win this matchup, though.
Yeah. Who do you have?
Oof. We'll get to that.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Join us on Tuesday night too on Instagram Live when we talk about
Mm-hmm.
NFL, college football weekend, what we think is going to happen. We'll talk about Ole Miss sports. We'll take your questions.
Yeah, we'll probably
talk
talk
about fantasy football.
the corral injury, all that. Blah blah.
Yeah, we'll
blah.
update you on all that. We'll talk about the NFL, the top 10 players of the week.
But now let's move over to our top 5 game day experiences that
which is
we
the
want.
one.
Okay. Do you want to go first?
I don't have my list on me, so I'm just gonna ballpark it. I'm winging
All
it,
right.
but I know it all.
Go
So you,
for it.
you go ahead.
All right. I mean,
Number 1. Oh, no, come in at 5. Run down for 5. Number 5.
oh shoot, I put number 6 on there. Oh well, I'll start with number 5. For number 5, I put Iowa. I've been
there. Now Kinnick Stadium.
I mean, I've never been to a game there, but I've been to their campus. It's
I went and they
alright,
lost.
but,
They lost to Indiana, 28-14, and Indiana's wide receiver did a front flip to score. That's how open he was.
Iowa. This is like a tradition they started back in like 2017. Or
Waving
something.
at the kids.
The Iowa Wave, which happens after after the end of the first quarter. I think that would just be
When they
Like,
showed
it's
that
cool.
special on
Because-
game day, it made me cry. Like literally made me cry.
because the opposing fans and the other team, they do it too.
I mean, how do you not do it?
Yeah.
How do you not do it? You have to be a sick human being to not wave. All right.
Number 4,
Number 4.
I put Notre Dame because
South Bend, Mayor Pete.
it'd just be just so cool because they have a lot of
Tradition.
tradition and history of good football teams.
And their
all that
campus is
jazz.
beautiful. And they got
Yeah.
touchdown Jesus in the end zone.
One of their traditions is I'm a band guy. I play an instrument, trumpet. They do this thing. They do this thing called Trumpets in the Dome. They played the Notre Dame, Our Mother, which I guess that's kind of like I don't know if that's their alma mater. I'm sure it's not, but and then they play the Victory March, and it's just you got to go look it up on YouTube. It's pretty neat. I would love to experience that.
Number 3.
But yeah, number 3, Penn State.
You stole one of mine.
I can't stand James Franklin, but I would love to experience a whiteout there.
I'm glad. I love James Franklin because he left Vandy. Now we don't have to lose to them anymore, which we probably will again this year. But
yeah, probably. But yeah, Penn State in their whiteout games, which is like when they wear whiteout, it gets
the
lit.
whole stadium's white.
Yeah.
In regard to what they wear, not the
Yeah.
population, but the population's very similar to that too.
Yeah, it gets pretty lit. Oh wait, shoot.
You don't have the 2 on there. It's fine. Number 2.
Yeah, what the heck happened to 2?
Just wing it.
Well, since I got Florida on there, whatever.
Go to the swamp. Chomp chomp.
Yeah. Well, my bucket list is once I start making real money is to
Like me.
go to every SEC school stadium besides State and LSU because I've already been to a game in both of those.
I've been to State.
I've been to State
And us.
2009 Egg Bowl and for LSU 2008.
Oof.
2008.
We won that game. We won that game. Yeah, we won that game. That was Jevin Sneed.
Jevin Sneed
Rest
was
in
dropping
peace.
dimes.
Yeah, I remember that. That was
RIP.
an amazing performance.
But Florida, I think that would be cool because they do this tradition called the 2-bit, 4-bit thing.
Peeing on the field because they're so drunk.
But the 2-bit, 4-bit thing, when they get like the whole crowd to do that jazz. But they got the original guy who did it. It's dead now, so R.I.P. to him too. Moving on. And
Number 1.
Number 1, I mean, I guess Texas A&M.
Gig 'em.
No. They have like a bunch of traditions they do, like the midnight yell. I think that would just be a cool experience to go to. They do that every Friday night at midnight, which obviously it's called midnight yell for a reason. And they like practice chants, cheers, and they sing. I don't even know what they're saying in the song, but it sounds cool when
It's
everybody.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
wish
wanna go
we
to
would.
A&M
I
now.
wish Ole Miss would do something like that. Besides just, I mean, Lock the Box's cool and everything, and the hottie toddy, but We need some more stuff to get the fans engaged, but that's my top 5.
So your top 5 is you got 1 A&M, number 2 Florida, number 3 Penn State, number 4 Notre Dame, and number 5 Iowa.
Yes.
Okay, I like that. That's a good list. A list of justice. I like that a lot. My top 5, I don't have my list on me, so I'm winging it, but I know the ones I have. But I'm going to take 2 off because 2 of them were ones that Christian said. I had Penn State and Texas A&M in there, but that's fine. I can come up with other ones too because I watch plenty of college football to know who has fun atmospheres. At number 5 for me, I would say Ohio State, and that was one that wasn't on my list, but that was one that was an honorable mention. Because their band is incredible. If you want to look at their YouTube, you can see their band doing like Super Mario video games where they actually look like what they're playing, and it's awesome. Like their marching band is top.
Oh yeah, something
in the nation.
Texas A&M's band.
Oh, also the military uniforms.
Yes.
They're awesome. They're strict. They're good. Yeah, if you haven't heard them, listen to them. Ohio State because of their band and because it's a great college game day atmosphere. Their fans are always there. They pack their stadium, unlike us, and they're very rowdy, and it's a fun place to be. At number 4, I had West Virginia because they do the Take Me Home Country Roads, and I'd love to hear that live. You just hear you hear 68,000 people singing Country Roads, Take Me Home. Like, that's beautiful. And it's just a cool place to go. I've never been to West Virginia. I'd love to go there one day. And that's one that's on my bucket list, just to hear Take Me Home Country Roads. Number 3 is an SEC one. They're down right now, but Tennessee would be a good one because that stadium is huge. It's an impressive place to go. And I'd love to hear them play Rocky Top and just see how crazy that fan base gets. They have a big tradition where they play Rocky Top and get really loud. Number 2 on my list, I would say probably USC, just to be there. They have the Trojan that runs down the field. They have they have the Trojan March, the beginning of the game, and the guy runs around.
On the horse?
Yeah, on the horse, the Trojan on the horse going nuts. Oklahoma will be an honorable mention, too, because they have the horse carriage that goes on the field. Florida State does the Seminole, too. But USC will be one because it's in Southern California and Pasadena, somewhere I've always wanted to go. And that atmosphere is just ridiculous. It's hard to beat. And number 1 was a fan base that we were talking about earlier, a team that fills their stadium every game, regardless of how bad they are, and that's South Carolina Gamecocks. Before the game, they have this tradition where they do the rooster crow, caw, caw. And sorry, my voice is not all the way there today. I was screaming and hollering at my agonies toward the Ole Miss Rebels yesterday. But that's one that I really want to go to. Their stadium's huge. It's beautiful. They fill it up every game. And their tradition's unlike any other. I mean, that Gamecock crow before the game is just awesome. And then they just go nuts and get ready for South Carolina football. And they open up the season and get beat by Kenny Hill 52-20. That was a long time ago. I remember that because that was the night we played Boise State and beat them 35-14 despite Bo Wallace throwing 3 interceptions. Cody Core had a good game that night.
Yep.
Some notes. We had some NFL Rebels that had good games today. Dawson Knox, like we mentioned earlier, had a touchdown, and he had a awesome truck where he threw a defender down. You watch this. Evan Ingram had a he had a you got mossed moment where he mossed a dude, but one-handed catch out of nowhere. Scored a touchdown. A.J. Brown didn't do anything Thursday night, but that's because the quarterback, Mariota, is horrible.
Yeah.
DK had an incredible catch. He was in double coverage and somehow came down with it over Marshawn Lattimore.
He had 2 catches for 67 yards. So that's pretty good.
Did Wilkins do anything today? I didn't see. Hilton played okay in the slot. He was guarding Marquise Goodwin a lot, and he did okay on him because Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't that great. I mean, he threw an interception. They fumbled the ball like 3 times. Steelers' defense was awesome, but offense under Mason Rudolph wasn't there. We're looking to see if Wilkins did anything. Any other Rebels of note that you know of who did anything today?
Not that I can think of. I'm going to see if Cody Core did anything. I doubt he
with the
did.
Giants?
Yeah, I doubt he did. But
I know Ingram.
Jordan Wilkins, 3 carries, -2 yards. That's not good.
No, that's not good. And their line, the Colts line is good too. It's not like the Falcons have some great D-line either. We're looking at the Giants stats to see what Cody Core did today, or if he did today. The Giants won. Hotty toddy.
Cody Core didn't. Well, he might have played, but
no stats.
There's no stats for him. So.
All right, now we're going to get to a more fun part of our show. We're going to talk about some entertainment. You know,
we'll talk some movies. There's one movie in particular we're going to talk about. So spoilers ahead if you don't want to listen to these spoilers if you haven't seen this movie.
Okay, so the movie in topic is It Too. It was awful. I give it an F minus. Like, it was the lowest of lows. If I had to give it like a 1 to 10 scale, it was repulsive. My eyes were bleeding. It was a 0.
First off, are you a horror fan?
No.
Like a scary movie
No.
fan? I'm not either. I don't really like suspense.
That one wasn't
horror.
scary. And it was stupid.
Well, there's
The acting was not good. The clown wasn't in it enough. It was weird.
one scene just scared the heck out of me.
The old lady.
No,
That was weird.
That was the monster, like the CGI for her.
That was so stupid.
It looked retarded.
It was awful. It did.
But that lumberjack scene, I will admit, that got me.
Oh, no. I laughed at that. That
And
was
my
funny.
sister screamed, and we both just started laughing.
The one good part of that movie was when the little girl was in the bleachers. Behind,
That's the kind of it stuff we want
That's that.
in the movie.
If they had more of this, okay. So there's a scene where a girl is watching a football game. Was it football or baseball?
It was I think, let's just say baseball. I think
it was baseball.
Yeah.
Watching her brother play baseball, she didn't want to be there. So like we all did as kids, you can go under the bleachers, right, at high school level baseball stadiums. She's under the bleachers. Then Pennywise comes up, hello, and starts talking to the girl like, I want to be your friend. Come closer. And the girl comes closer to him. Then he just counts. She goes, I'm gonna count to 3, 2, 1.
He was like. She was like, "Can you take this scar off my?"
That's what it was. She had a scar.
Left cheek. I don't really care what cheek
left.
it was.
The kids pick on me because of that.
And then
I'll take it away in 3, 2,
he was
1,
like 1, 2, and then he gets cross-eyed.
And she goes, you forgot to say 3. And, then, and he devours her.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff you want to see in the whole movie. Or at the beginning when
that was creepy.
The same sex couple.
Yes.
I don't want to get into that, but they had issues. The town, the bigots in the town were torturing them. The guy gets thrown into the river, and then Pennywise takes care of him.
To be honest, in that scene, I thought Pennywise was going to like pop out of those balloons, all the swarm of balloons, and get his partner, I guess you would say, too. I was like, oh God, please don't scare me like this,
and he didn't. It was underwhelming. And at the end of the movie, it ended up the only thing they had to do to destroy Pennywise, they just had to yell at him and make fun of him, and that's how they beat him. It was so dumb. It was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
The ending was just like so drawn out. Like, get to the point.
Yeah, it was not good. If you want to see that movie, go for it, but I wouldn't recommend it. What's a good movie you've seen recently?
Oh man, you're putting me on the spot, aren't you?
Did you see Hobbs and Shaw?
I did. What did you think of that?
It was another movie. It wasn't good. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was entertaining.
If you like action,
it was entertaining. It just wasn't. It wasn't a good movie, but it was entertaining.
It was pretty good.
Well, I'm saying it wasn't like something profound. Like, it wasn't something like unexpected you've never seen before. It's the same as the other movies. Like, it's nothing new. It's The Rock and Jason Statham kicking butt. Yeah. That's pretty much all it was. Angel Has Fallen. Did you see that?
I did.
I haven't seen it. Was it good?
I liked it.
Okay.
It was pretty good.
Should I see it?
I think you should.
I've seen Olympus and
Morgan
London.
Freeman has Ole Miss hat on.
I've seen Olympus Has Fallen, and he's wearing an Ole Miss hat in the movie?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I need to see it
It's
then.
the scene when he's like fishing with
Heidi Tidy.
With like the main Secret Service dude. I can't remember his real name.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, so Angel Has Fallen's going. So shows. What have you been watching lately?
Well, no, we got to continue talking about coming soon movies.
Coming soon. What's coming? The Joker, dog. We're seeing that together.
October 4th.
We're gonna do a Instagram live after we see the Joker. We're gonna have a group of guys. Me and you and Thomas.
Ad Astra came out this past Friday.
Boring.
With Brad Pitt. I don't.
Ooh, can I tell you one movie I saw recently that was phenomenal? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Incredible.
Really?
Did you see it?
No, I'm not.
Well, how are you gonna do that if you haven't seen it?
I'm probably not gonna see it.
Then how are you gonna denigrate it?
Movies that come out this Friday.
Hold on, answer my question, homie.
What?
How are you gonna denigrate the movie if you haven't seen it?
I've seen the preview.
Does the book judge by a cover?
No.
Phenomenal movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Age restricted. Good Boys was also very good. It was funnier than All Get Out.
Movies that are coming up this Friday are Abominable, which is
Abominable.
Yeah, thank you. Which is
Halloween movie.
A cartoon movie. Some movie called Judy. I don't know.
Jerry Judy.
And then Aqualia. I know I probably just butchered that.
Joker.
But October 4th, the main thing I'm looking forward to is Joker. And then the next movie I'm looking forward to, October 11th.
Gemini Man?
Yes.
That looks stupid.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't look good. I don't like that.
But that's about it movies, but shows-wise,
What have you been watching?
to be honest, I just recently, like a week or two or whatever ago, I finished Regular Show on Hulu.
Oh, snap. Oh,
Yes,
snap.
'cause-
Come to our macaroni party and we'll take it out. Summertime, and you know what that means. Gonna head out to the
Because-
beach and do some beachy things. Summertime, means loving in the summertime. I love that episode.
Yes. And then I watched
The
the
song
Regular
never
Show
stops.
movie, but I mean, I've been watching Arrow on Netflix, and
You're
I kinda,
Mordecai and I'm Rigby.
I kind of
You're
got
taller.
I kind of got bored of watching Arrow because it just got so repetitive.
Felicity's hot, though.
Yeah, she is. But now what I'm watching is, thank you Hulu for this, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. I am watching that.
Blue,
right now.
that's my boy.
Yeah.
I've been watching. I did the same thing like you did with Arrow. I did the same thing with The Flash. I started getting really deep into the show, but the storylines got really weird and it started overlapping.
The writing is just.
It got
was just bad.
at first was really good, then it started getting bad, and I didn't enjoy it as of late.
I'm not enjoying Arrow right now.
But I'm getting
gonna
back
power
to.
through it.
But I started watching Breaking Bad, which is a complete polar opposite show.
Man, that shit was.
It's
good.
awesome. Breaking Bad is awesome. But now I'll watch an episode of Breaking Bad, then I'll watch an episode of The Flash to kind of lighten up the mood because The Flash isn't nearly as dark and deep as Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And then I'll watch an episode of The Office before I go to bed, just something to lighten my mood.
Why is that even? I don't get why that's just such a funny show.
You like The Office?
No,
I like it.
I do not like.
But you're
it.
not a funny person though. You don't get humor. I'm just messing with you.
Not to say, man.
No, but you might not. You have to get the humor and understand like the inside jokes and it's not slapstick humor. Like I love Impractical Jokers, so I love me some slapstick humor, but I also love the high-minded humor of The Office too. But I've been watching those three shows kind of on a loop, and I watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine a lot too with Andy Samberg and Terry Crews. It's an NBC show. It's very good. If you haven't watched it, I recommend it. So watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine if y'all like a good laugh. It's very similar to The Office and Parks and Rec, but with Andy Samberg. What's up?
Well, one of my shows comes back on tomorrow.
Gotham. I'm just kidding. I want to watch
No.
Gotham. I like Gotham a lot.
Good
too.
Doctor.
The Good Doctor, is it good?
Yes.
Is the doctor a good doctor?
Yeah, it's about an autistic doctor.
I was told I was autistic yesterday after the game. Speaking of Good Doctor, if y'all like listening to podcasts, listen to Doctor.
Oh yeah, and American Horror Story came out last Wednesday.
I never got into it. I didn't like it.
You didn't? It's good.
I don't like that kind of stuff. I'm more of a comedy and action kind of
I
guy.
understand. Yeah.
I liked, if y'all want to listen to a good podcast, listen to a podcast called Dr. Death. It's about this doctor who graduated from University of Tennessee, but he was in the Memphis location because it's the med school. And he would like kill patients on purpose, like experiment different ways to like torture them.
legit?
Yeah, it happened. And he would
Jeez.
like, instead of getting fired, they'd get rid of him. They'd just cut him and he'd go to another hospital because they didn't want the whole hospital to be sued for hiring him. And he went to like 4 different hospitals and did this before he finally got caught. And he's life without parole in prison now. I've got the guy's name. But yeah, he would like put like screws and stuff in people's hearts to where they'd wake up and be in writhing pain, and like it'd be where you couldn't have surgery to undo it without them dying. Like yeah, he was horrible. He tortured people. Yeah, it's awful. It's crazy what happened. He practiced here at UMC, dog, in Jackson. Yes, like it's crazy what happened. Yes. So y'all need to listen to that Dr. Death. And
crazy.
another good podcast to listen to too is Disgraceland. It's like disgraceful stories of musicians. Like a lot of it's older musicians. Like one was on Johnny Cash. They did one on Sam Cooke and other guys. They did one on the Grateful Dead. They done one on Cardi B too. It's a very good show. I don't like Cardi B either.
Me neither.
I'm not going to see Hustlers. Are you? One of my buddies texted me, he said, just saw Hustlers. I'm like, why? He goes, because J-Lo's hot. I mean, I do think J-Lo's hot. She's also marrying A-Rod. More power to them. Oh, Mariano Rivera got the Presidential Medal of Freedom last week and unanimously voted into the Hall of Fame in baseball. I thought that was cool. He was on Fox and Friends talking about his faith, saying, God was the reason he had his abilities to play baseball.
That's great.
I wanted to end on a happy story. What have you been listening to music-wise?
Oh man. Really, nothing's really. I mean. Well, Post Malone came out with a new album like 2
Hollywood
weeks
is
ago.
bleeding.
Yes.
My ears were bleeding when I tried to listen to it. I do not like Post Malone or that
But,
music.
Anyway, besides that, really, I mean, Green Day came out with a new single, which I think is pretty good.
Yeah.
But not really, nothing that much.
My favorite band, not my favorite, one of my favorite bands, they're an indie kind of pop band. Not many people have heard of them, but they're from Mississippi. The guy is Rocky Pora. They came out with a new album called Twirlin'. It's very good. They're from Mississippi. They're performing at Proud Larry's in Oxford on October 28th. I'll be there. I'm going to go to the concert. We don't have a game that weekend, so I'm going to go stay up with my buddy. You can come with me if you want. But they're good. I've been listening to them, and I've been listening to a lot of Grateful Dead again. And who else? Oh, Boston. Oh, I've been on a Boston kick, dude. Do you like Boston?
Yeah, I like Boston.
I've been listening to Boston like religiously lately.
This was pretty neat.
My dad got on to me last week when I talked about music and I was talking about what I listened to. My dad's like, "Oh, do you just not like Christian music anymore, son?" And I said, "Dad, to be honest, no. Like, I love the Lord and I love Jesus, but most of the Christian music on mainstream, K-Love and Air One is just awful. The music is horrible. It's awful." But I did listen to that. I heeded my dad's words and I started listening to some older stuff, some older Newsboys. And I'm like, man, these guys are really good. I forgot how much I enjoyed them. And even some of the newer Newsboy stuff, like Greatness of Our God, I do love that song. So I started getting more into the Christian music, listening to it.
Yeah.
Started getting me to read the Bible more, too.
Passion came to our Mississippi College chapel. 'Cause at Mississippi College, you're required to take chapel.
That's good.
And,
every college should require that. These kids need the Lord.
Yeah, really.
Me included.
They somehow got Passion to come and lead.
They'll be in Atlanta soon, so that's probably why they came through.
Well, they were also performing at Pine Lake and Clinton.
Oh, that's
night,
right.
So,
yeah, a buddy of mine told me it was really good.
After we got done with chapel, I went to the library and studied, and I started listening to their stuff. They got some good stuff. It's really good.
Yeah, Passion will move your heart too. Like it's really. It's
really expensive to go to that conference or whatever.
Yeah, but when the Passion, their kind of music is deep and it hits the heart, you just get straight into a moment of worship. Like it's unlike any other. It's not like upbeat and you're like jumping up and down and where it's a reverent moment, like where you're just like acknowledging like the power of what they're singing and like you can feel the Spirit of God moving in that. But pretty much that's going to conclude today's show. Thank y'all for tuning in when you decide to tune in. We'll be posting this to SoundCloud and YouTube. So we're done. You got anything to add, Christian?
Well, yeah, we're getting the soundboard really soon. It should be here, like maybe in a week or two.
The latest it will be here is October 5th.
I mean, that's next week.
So the Joker comes out, dog.
Yeah. So probably next time you hear this podcast, it will actually sound like a better quality or whatnot.
Yeah.
And we're gonna try to go live on YouTube.
We have a $30 million studio being built right as we speak, so you'll be able to see us.
I thought it was $100 million.
No, we don't have the Alabama money. It's a great value, $100 million.
Well, yeah, we'll be live on Instagram Tuesday
night. Check it out.
Just to talk about
on Taco Tuesday.
Boo.
Y'all check it out. Thank you for tuning in. Y'all have a wonderful day.
Toddy.
God bless you. Hotty toddy. Until next time, folks.